All right. Okay, so now I gotta go. Shit. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God, I think it's working. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh my God, I think it's not. Oh, come on, not twice. Oh, come on. You've got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. I I don't think it's going to work again. Hey, sounds like relaxation. Can you hear me? See, is that I'm getting some error message again? God damn, this makes me so fucking mad. Can you? Let's see. Oh, Jesus Christ, this is beyond. This is just beyond. I can't see. Um. Okay, so you can see the. I'm getting an error message. God damn, it's just beyond, just beyond. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can figure it out. It's telling me the. God damn. You see the disclaimer. Okay, so let me see. Okay, you get a chart there. It's telling me the screen resolution is wrong. I fucking. Can you see the chart all right? All right. Well, maybe it'll just gonna let me do it. This is beyond. This is enough to just bail on this and just never do another one. So annoying. I don't know. I just have a major problem with this. This is just a brain fart of the highest order. I can't get it to work. Okay, so it seems to be going. All right, so it's just you and me, my friend. Oh, I guess we got a few other in here. All right, hang on. I got to find the motherfucking thing. Oh, let's see here. Okay, so that's working. That's working. Okay, so let's see if let's see, I got to get myself in there. Is that there? Yeah, there I am. All right, guys. Good God, this is really embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. I can't figure this out. It's hard to understand how this can be so problematic every single time. Sorry, I know that's a boring thing to listen to, so let's just move on from that. All right, guys. So here, I'm just going to try and resurrect best I can. Really frustrating. Well, I got spanked hard today. Let's see here. What do we got here? We just got a few. Oh, we might get some action in the afternoon here. This was as soon as they reopened First National. Boom. That's when I said, "Oh no, time to get out." I got spanked hard. Sorry, guys, I'm having a day. God damn, I should just bail on this. I really am feeling like this is the wrong day to be doing it, but I'm going to try. Oh, all right, we'll try. Now, here, I'll just show you what I was watching that had me get so long. If I can find it. This was what I saw that had me go long, and then I added here. All right, so sometimes best intentions. All right, so I saw all of this. Have we got anyone? Well, if you'll watch it in replay. This is massive. So look at the difference in size here. This is, it's after the fact. This is huge amount of size right here. Relative, right? You're just looking relative to what a typical, these are 15 range. Huge size, much smaller size, smaller, and then huge again. Like, look at the POC, you got a couple G's here. So it looked to me like this was...
When asked whether Russia will withdraw from the grain deal, Lavrov says the Western sanctions are blocking Russian export of grain and fertilizer.
I got to turn that guy off, and it means I got to find him. Oh, that's Financial Juice. I've got them running. Oh, let's get him to stop. Or that's going to interrupt. All right, now I lost you guys. Okay, so this is what I was trying to show you guys. This is when I started. I went 3 here, added 3 here, so I was 6 and ended up getting out. I'm watching 17 right around here, but I had size on here. So and these are, those are 15.
And again, when asked if Russia will withdraw from the grain deal, Lavrov said the UN Secretary General has sent his letter to Putin. There will be a reaction in due course.
There he is. Okay, so I got to get him off. Let's get him off. Okay. What a day, guys. God, I'm just off in every conceivable way that I could be off. Anyway, this is what I was trying to point out, right? So this looked like a good run. Now you're going very counter trend, but I saw all that size here and looked good. I think I was going for 25, so it really wasn't after much here. And then this, I got pressed here again. This is a lot of size, but it looked like we were gonna we've got delta divergence here. You got enough here. Looked like it was going to be a decent, like we might get out of trouble here. And then this was the last chance. What did we get to here? Oh, I can't even remember. One of these when you look at it. And then I heard that First Republic news that they had halted. I think it was right here. This was the one where I was like, oh, I was trying to get to right there. We got right here. Then the First Republic news broke. And then this was This was, they had halted trading. This is when they allowed trading again. Boom. And that, I got spanked right about here. I was watching the 100. I thought that, I mean, there's a lot there to suggest it, but that kind of news. And then the other thing that was there, and again, just to show you that it's not always going to play like you'd expect, right? Divergence, 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 right? So you're getting the swings with lower and lower volume. So I kept thinking, okay, I'm going to hold, hold, hold. And once I saw that, I just immediately went out at the market. Because that, once they started to dump, looked like that was going to be it. So, all right, how we got here? So again, just a very small group. So as I don't deserve much more than that, given I can't seem to figure it out. Okay, so this is starting to look like a trading range here. Here's the 1618, which, you know, these things matter, right? So if we're going to blow through the 100 was, you know, probably the last chance for that to hold technically, and I'm just taking the swing length from the high to the pivot here, and then looking for the 100. Here's the second, and then a little bit beyond the 1618. Now, I'd be surprised if we don't have our lows in, but we might not. Let's see here. Is there anything else here I can offer up? This also was somewhat interesting. I'd been watching this, and when we got, this is where I was highlighting to you guys here, and I was watching that. So there were a lot of reasons to be looking for that short scalp. I think I was after 8 ticks. Spanked. So what would you do now? Well, I'm trying to keep an emphasis here over on the footprint charts, because I think sometime this week or next week, I'm doing something with indicators with a focus on the footprint chart. So now we go into rotation, which is not unusual after this big drop. But again, look at the size here. These are multi-$1,000. Look at that. It's just such huge size. There's nothing that big. Nothing that big. All right, sometimes you can think yourself into trouble, and the market's going to do what it's going to do. That's a pretty good rip right there. One thing to keep in mind when you're trading a 15 range, it looks very different, right? So the distance, there's a perspective difference here on a 2,000 tick. Looks like, well, it's not moving too far, but with a 15 range, I kind of go back and forth, 10, 15. That's almost 4 points. That's a big bar, right? These are big bars. All right, so here's the crescendo. How would you look at it? Let's see. Most people are working and dreaming about day trading. You're right. Sounds like relaxation. I know. We're lucky we can do this. I wasn't selected. I had a good day yesterday. Gave it all back today. That's the nature of the beast. I was up about 1,100 yesterday and ended up negative 1,300 after I got clobbered there. But it was actually, the loss was bigger because I was up 600 going in, which is why I was kind of aggressive. So I know I had a little cushion there. So I ended up net negative 1,300 on the day. Oh, and I'll probably call it a day off of that. Well, let's see here. Let's get the 15-minute in. It's tempting, you know. It's really tempting. You take a big loss like that. You got to catch yourself, because your instinct is to revenge trade it. Like, oh, okay, I'll get that back, and then you come back at it with more size than it's appropriate, because you're trying to fill it's almost like it's a pain, right? So you're in pain because of the loser, and you're trying to relieve that quickly, and often that's when you compound the problem, you make it worse. Oh God, let's see here. I guess you guys can see me. Okay, so most people are working and drinking. So it looks like it's just 3 or 4 of us. Oh, I guess we got 8 in here now. So what to do, right? I find with a footprint here, especially one that's this big, I need to see. I come here. I come to the footprint when it's decision time, or if I spot something. So if we look over here, After this, just you don't get better channeling than that. Then we go just waterfall. Rotation. Now, so you look and it's a bit daunting to even consider going long because look what you've got to work through. Right, so as we come up, so not only do we have imbalances in the volume profile, you got fair value gaps, order blocks, fair value gap, imbalance, golden zones. So all of this, pretty daunting. But you have to assume it's bottom fishers are going to come in here and say, okay, that perhaps that's enough. If we go to a 60, just for some perspective. Well, these are not off the low. Looks like it might be a 50. I think I've got 30 days of data here. Oh, we're not even to the 50 golden zone down here. I should probably get some more data on that. That's 60. Let's get 90 on there. Oops. I want 60. I want, let's go 45 days. See if I get a different low. Yeah, I do. 1, 2, 3. Oh, how would you count that? Looks like a WXY. WX. It's like we're working on a C there. Further we go, the less intimidating it gets. It's like 1, 2. Let's see how we did here. All right, things that don't happen randomly. I'm probably a little off on that. Right. Just out of curiosity, how you guys doing? Okay. Look at that. Right, it's so easy after the fact to spot them. All right, that is about as good as it gets right there. All right, so we get, now here you're getting your 80% here, but the crescendo pivot here at the channel, right? This is a very underappreciated tool. This is the auto range where you get channel. So it's just going to use 3 pivots. So it's got 3 pivots. So you're going to get channel, but as well you're going to get median lines as well. Now here, this nice channel as we break. Does look like this is going to be interesting. All right, if we're going to hold right here where we have all of that price action here, imbalances, fair value gaps. If we're coming down here, this would be definitely an area of interest. You'd have multiple confluence points here. You've got 50s, you got golden zones. You might have a leading diag into an area. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hard to say. All right, let's see. So if I lose 2 in a row, I'm done for the day because that almost never happens. Well, check you out. I think Dorian Thomas, that's I am the money. Yeah, I think so, right. You rarely have 2 losers in a row. Good for you, man. Well, I actually only had 1 loser today. It just was a big one. 2 losers in a row, not that. It depends what your stop levels are. It's not that uncommon. And certainly there are many days where you can be either hot or cold in the morning and then get the opposite in the afternoon. I think I keep multiple accounts, so it's always good to rotate if one's off. If I'm off, I'll take a breather, and rather than come back and try and revenge trade, switch to a different account. Let's pull you a little further. I'm not doing much. All right, so big picture, right? Doesn't change that often, but that would be an area that I would be watching for an alert. So here's the accumulation, consolidation. So we go from abrupt sell-off. Let's try and get us again. Would you want to buy that? Well, I think that would be... Well, so after a major downtrend like this, or major push lower, this maybe you got a little bit here. Looks like you got, once you got into the red zone, you got that kickback, but not a trend change. I'm trying to keep a focus on the footprint here. So this little thing, I have it set to draw on both charts. So when I get this kind of range. Now, if you're way up on the day, maybe, right? You know, when you go into a trading range, but you'd be buying low of the day. Maybe if you got some trap traders, but if this was lower, I might look at it. But as it sits right here, you've got room to fall. Looks like there's 4,100, a nice big fat round number. There's orders in the book at 4,100. There's there's a 900 lot at 4,100 right down here. So I'm just looking over at Bookmap. 4,100. Right here. So here, let's see if we can catch some. All right, so there's enough size for the lift off there. You can kind of see that. Pay attention, you guys. Does that sound like relaxation? You're saying to I am the money that it must be nice to rarely have two losers? Well, I don't know if I would quit. It depends on what size, right? If I try and keep drawing. 1,000 is about time I'm going to switch a counter stop if I get that far down on the day, which doesn't happen that often. But on these big down days, I'm such a naturally, my bias is always to counter trade. And my worst days are almost always big down days. Those are always my worst performing days, and I know that from looking at my results. Again, I told you why I was long there. I mean, a 6 lot is not that big. But remember, these are 4 points. So push, rotation. Well, you've got a threat here now of these guys getting trapped on the wrong side. Really big order in the book. Now, just because it's down there, the market's likely to go there and see, do they mean business or are they going to pull it? Nice big round number. Where's the tick? It's still, all right, there's room to fall. This is where you want to, again, you got to use your judgment, because if we're down here, you're certainly going counter trend, right? So you've got to build some conviction. If I see him get into the red zone here, I'm looking for some signs here right now. So now these guys, the first group's underwater. Look at the size start to build here. You see down here it's 100, 200. Now we're into 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So the size is piling in now. Now there's the 4,100. So they just hit that order in the book. So you see the reaction. They didn't pull it, right? So they didn't pull it. I should bring that over so you guys can see it. They might pull it. Here's what I'm looking at. All right, so here's the 977, right? They didn't pull it, right? When they pull it, the line will stop, right? They held, so they took them on. So you can see over here at 4,100, you can see that size. What they got 856 off here. So here's the reaction to it. That could get tested again. Again, Bookmap. It's kind of it's a luxury item, right? Not essential. Break a structure. Many people are. Sounds like look at daily, waiting for a break of X. Break a structure. All right, so here, right, you can, let's see. What's interesting is you don't see it reflected here. So, oh, because they didn't trade it. That's why they went right to it. They didn't actually trade it. All right, so here it is. They didn't actually get it. Now it's starting to, right? So who's nervous now? These guys, right? So we get delta divergence. You get some imbalances in there, that little square. Delta is climbing. Now, is that enough to take a trade? No, what else? By itself, maybe not here. So you'd be working off of the premise you're going to trap some shorts here. That's big size in there. I'd want to see it. I'd likely not be interested until we got to the other side of that. Now, if we got that, then maybe you could get up to the prior pivot. So that would be, and then of course you're going to have the 50 and the golden zone to work through. Weird day. I guess not with the bank failure. Or essentially I guess they're not dead yet. Well, here's the extreme. Here's the sideways. We do have a new low, so technically there's room for this to be done. It's not that I'm that good, just I trade 50K accounts for my Apex trail. Yeah, the thing with the whole, all of the, right, you know, it's a seductive thing, right? Oh, don't trade with our money, but the trailing drawdown is why I don't participate. I don't want somebody telling me what I can. Anyway, I mean, I don't need the money, so I don't do it that way. But a lot of people do, right? I think it's more people day trading now with these, what do we call them, combines? Or is that just a top step? A lot of people doing it. At least with Apex, they priced it so that it's affordable. Although, remember, they're not in it. They're not in it to be kind. They're in it for the money. As we've said before, these are about as perfect a business as you can imagine. They essentially have no downside, none, only upside. So if you're the world's greatest trader, they're skimming 20% off the take. If you're the world's worst trader, you're just going to reload. It's an incredibly brilliant business to be in. There's absolutely no downside, no risk to them, none. Right? You can see why so many people want to do it. And by that, I mean, be the Apex or the Top Step or who is it? There's a couple of them. One Up. All do the same trailing drawdown, right? They're going to get you out and get you to reload, and that's how they make their money. Careful of those things, right? They're, at first glance, it's very appealing. All right. So, anything we can glean here from this? What do I have here? Just for clarity's sake, I've got delta rise, surge rise, same thing, right? So you'd see it clear. This was, there's a drop. Here's the delta drop here. So as delta was falling, here's the O for drop. Delta divergence. So here's delta, that little dot is a divergence signal here. So here's a new low with positive delta. So we got delta divergence on. I find this can be a good way to, you kind of watch at the end of the day. This is how to learn these. The other one, trap traders, right? That's the new one where we get an X. Oh, let's see. Let's take delta trap off. There's a delta trap. Okay, so that's a good way to learn it. So this is the delta trap right here. A for trap. That's how I think of it. So these guys, this is what's happening here, and this is what happened to me, right? I got delta trapped. I went long here, right, off of this, and I added here, right? And what happened to me? I got delta trapped. Because once this started to come, then we got to cover, right? I gave it a little room, and then by here I was out. Shit, I can't remember. I think I got out at 17. Right, so it doesn't look like, oh shit, that wasn't that big. You know, it was big. All right, so you know, I kind of jokingly, but not jokingly, always post up the breakout traders. It's never that I'm saying that we're not going to break. It's always I'm just saying that's not where you enter the market, right? Because you're vulnerable to just the slightest little whiff of a push and you're clenching, right? So it's just you don't want to be. That's not where you enter, right? You want to be if you're looking for a big sell-off, you want to be short going into it, not entering. But that's what retail does. They enter at the short. Breakout, or you say the same thing here, right? Breakout. The breakouts have to eventually get. They have to get one, right? Or we'd go sideways. So eventually they're going to get one. These guys all delta trapped, right? So that's another. So right here, what have I got? So I've got delta divergence here, and then I've got delta divergence again right here with imbalances. I've got some sequencing there. Now, is this enough? Well, here, so we just looked at this, right? So this is where, okay, we get to the other side of that. Then perhaps, right, some of these guys are going to get nervous, and we came right up to the edge of it, clipped off. That's the advantage the footprint gives you. You can see, right, I mean, it's advantage, disadvantage, right? It's a disadvantage for me because I saw all of that, and that's what got me long. Ended up, it may have been better if I didn't know it was there. This is just a massive, right? Look, there's some of these is very little on the other side. All right, so let's go back. All right, so still going sideways. Just a reminder, guys, I know it's after the fact, but when you see that squeeze, right, you know, I mean, squeeze doesn't go for all day. Right, so you're going to come out of a squeeze. What side is the McGinley on? Show me a time where that doesn't happen. Now it's tricky, right? So here where you get a little chop back and forth, right? We're going right into the open. But once we start to roll, squeeze, where's the McGinley? Squeeze, where's the McGinley? Squeeze, where's the McGinley? Right? It's just very, very consistent. Now, I'm not saying it's making it easier. Now here you've got squeeze here, so you're still in the squeeze as it's wrestling with that pivot. No squeeze, fall. Squeeze, where's the McGinley? So what makes that hard is that if you're right here, you gotta have enough conviction to say, okay, I'm going to take maybe you take the break there, you get a second entry short, something along those lines. Rather than try and guesstimate, just go with what's there. What color? I mean, you can almost think, what color is it? Oh, let's see here. What do I got here, Bob? What would the new world call eating a meal in the early evening? Then, oh shit, Simon. Well, Simon's 6 hours ahead of us. I think 6. So is it 8 o'clock for you? Oh, good. I think it's 8 or 7 o'clock. 8 or 7 o'clock. No wonder he's having dinner. I do not like to eat after 8 o'clock ever. Right, disrupts my sleep. It's good. Okay, so here this is interesting, right? So now if we break here, we're going to get a new high. We'd have a second entry long. But do you want? I mean, given the trend, I'd personally rather, if I was still trading today, I'd want to see back right now go rather than try and guess here. Dinner, supper, sinner. No, what do we got on the 15th? So here, this is consolidation. That's part of the Pat's price action trader. Enough, right? Well, we got through here, but we didn't get a trade through. There. That's a new low at 1358. That's not a new low here. This is it's a pretty good size here. Here's 1,000 up here. Oh, let's see here. I've got this reset. This is the new format. Just make sure I had it right. That Irwin came up with us. I think it's in response to some big. Let me just drop. Look at the delta get popped here. This takes a little getting used to. So it's a little easier on the eye, I think, in terms of spotting where the aggressive sellers are and buyers. Here, surprisingly, where you just got some imbalance here. I'm so dialed in. I'm so used to the default. This is a little harder for me. What is footprint? When is footprint price going up? Oh, I want to say it already did. I saw a post yesterday from Irwin. Someone was asking the same question. I think the response was it already did go up. Oh, this would be interesting here. Do you guys see that? And if you put your mouse over, you can see the actual candle. It's always a little deceptive because it looks like it traded one tick higher than it did, but there's actually no trade there. So here's the stacked imbalance at the low. So when I see that, what my first thought is, okay, well, if we rally here, these guys are in trouble. So let's see, I'm used to looking at it here, right? So these guys, if we rally, these guys are going to need to cover. We still have this same level, if I can draw it over, that needs to clear. Okay, so that's not big size relative, right? You always want to look relative to what's been trading. Usually that will serve you well. So here's all the sizes. It was like with the buy sell momentum when we say, oh, okay, 60 or 70% of the volume is down below. Well, here's the POC, which would be 68% of that if it holds. Right now, we don't that can reverse. Intra-bar, because these are such big bars. So I've got a stripe. So I've got imbalances. I got stacked imbalances. I've got the POC at the low or near the low. Let's see where we finish here. Potential to get these guys nervous. These guys here and these guys here. That's not huge, though. All right, so you look at it and you think, oh, well, they're not worried. They're not worried. All right, oh, how many ticks do they get worried? There's 11, 12. It's pretty even. Don't have anything there. So it can be handy to print these out. Stacked imbalance, sequencing, POC. It takes a little time to memorize them. Okay, let's see how we deal with this. All right, so you can see them coming in. Still not through. You want to get on the other side of that. Delta's 57 to 292, so bulls aren't blasting off here. Oh, I suppose some people like it. I kind of go back and forth as to whether I want these. Oh, delta bars. I'll tell you what I don't want is I just want the percentage. All right, so it looked like, oh, hey, here we got a stacked imbalance here, yet where delta was negative. So thus we get an up candle, we get sequencing, but we got negative delta. So here in that level seems to be what the market is wrestling with. back down to test the lows. Right. I know, right? It's with the exception of very extreme tick or the IB low, it should be in the back of your mind. Buyers at lows create new lows. I know. I when I post that to you guys, I'm posting it to myself as much because my instinct is to counter trend. Okay, so let's see how we look over on the candlestick. Right, again, I'm back and forth. So if I think, oh, it's decision time, then I come to the footprint. What I don't do is try and spend the whole day watching the footprint. Right? I don't think you get enough perspective. So are we coming out of this range? Looks like we might. It's okay. It gives us some sense of, okay, well, if we're going to put in a new low, let's get it done. This is not insignificant, right? Where the enthusiasm amongst sellers is drying up a little bit. But, oh, this I was going to show you guys this. If I can get it together. Some of you may like this. I saw this from Futures Flow was doing this. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Oh, let's get you off since we're not trading. So you can take the footprint chart. You don't necessarily have to use the bid-ask model. So here it is with all of the information down below. I've got buy-sell momentum. That's all the Pikachus, which can be too many. That's a lot of back and forth with the delta. It's up delta, down delta. Can be a lot. I don't always put it on, but this is unusually heavy amount of it as we're in this rotation. But this is another possibility. So you could, for example, if you like, delta divergence, right? You got that. There's a delta trap. Close at delta min max, right? That's kind of interesting, but that can be too many. It's a good way to learn this. Oh, continuous POC. Where I see that. I had a delta trap on here, but there. Yeah, I do have it, right? So there's the delta trap. As an alternative for some of you that you get lost in the numbers, right? Or it's too much, and you're so used to a candlestick chart. I mean, you can really compress this down, yet still get those footprint signals, right? Those delta imbalances or stacked imbalances. This can be just another way to use it. And then here, okay, it gets a little hard to see, but I can see those areas where I get these bright colors. Now I know here that this was a big negative delta as we put that in. Negative 1600. So you can, right, again, it's just, this looks like we're coming down here. The midline. Long way to get any sort of rally, and then all of this resistance, right? It's got to work through. So there would have to be news or some reason for the market to rally back through all of that. I don't know we're going to see that today. But when you look at it here, so I like to keep at least one footprint somewhere that's the equivalent of what my basic candlestick chart is. Since my default is a 2000 tick, I like to keep a 2000 tick footprint. Let's see what you guys are saying. Yeah, footprint with buy sell. That's what that is, right? Yeah. How do you do it? So all you do is you turn off the footprint, the bid ask, right? So it's just a candlestick chart with footprint applied, but then you turn off the bid ask, right, up here. You have nothing, right? Or shit, I can't remember. I think I made them transparent. That's the other choice. Now that's too much Pikachu. Let me get that off of there because it's kind of annoying. Oh, let's see here. Pikachu, isn't that like some game? It was a game. What was the fucking game? Myself. Oh, where's the fucking Pikachu? So like this, right? So that you just got it here without any candlesticks or without any bid ask. Now, when you open it up, right, you're losing some of that context here, but we get the buy sell momentum, which is speed of the volume. So you get that component through the hollow candles, and then of course you're also seeing where you get that heavy concentration. So it can be reinforcement here, so you can see it here as well as you could put on. Oh, what did I hear? So. That's too many tails and a flip. All right, so here's a delta flip. So then I go look at it and I say, okay, why is that a delta flip? Well, because we look at the why is it a flip? Right, we got 3 up bars here. We go right and we hit the McGinley and then we flip. Right, looks like the same thing's happening here. Then the delta, so you're positive, 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 big drop. It's something to play around with if you have the footprint. Sounds like it seems like it was 8 years. Nice Dorian. Yeah. You guys have got another thing going on. Oh, Pikachu with Pokemon. That's what it was. I never played Pokemon. I was already too old for that. So do you see what happened? The footprint, I have it set to split, to auto split. So we must have had a double distribution, which would make sense. Since once we did this and then stalled, well, here we can look at it. This is worth understanding. So if I take the splitting off, I have to reset. I think I did, or unless I've got 2 of them. Must have 2 of them. There we go. Nope. We got 2 of them up here. I think I must. Hello. I'm not sure why it's not reloading Ninja. Well, you can kind of see why it would have split. I'm not sure why it's not letting me unsplit. I want that off for some reason. I think that's a little bug where I'm getting, I want you off. There we go. All right, so let's go current profile. Right. Okay, so you can see here's one big distribution, big gap, and then we get a second distribution. So the theory behind it should make sense. So as we drop, now we base down here. So I've got one big distribution and then a second. So that thus I think there's advantage to doing it this way because I'm going to get new areas here, new imbalances relative to the new range. Come on. So this now is what it really matters to the market in terms of imbalances. Sideways, new lows. Is there enough here to do anything? Hang on. Interesting, not a lot of movement in Bitcoin, up or down, kind of just stagnant. I thought you might get more of a... Well, we're up a few hundred. You see, right, this level keeps getting hammered. What is that? That's 4104. So there's got to be... Big attempt. Do you see all the size now building at the bottom here? again, I'm not thinking, oh shit, what a great time to be a seller. I'm thinking, if these guys get in trouble, they're going to need to cover. Look at the difference here. Look at the size down here. I'm assuming you guys can see this. And then here I've got 92, 72, 114, 300. Here I got 1800, 2300, 2700, 1800. This is a big wad down here. So these guys are vulnerable, right? If they get, even with a positive delta, you've got all of this size down here at the low and positive delta. Pretty good amount of, look at the difference in volume here. So from 5,000 to 29,000, right? So the other things just to be looking for, okay, wait a second. Now this is a huge amount of volume from bar to bar. Why? What's going on? Bear is clearly in control. I'm just going to pull that over. As we push, maybe no longer reasonable to call it a range. We're well through this. This is just a big, ugly down day. Big, ugly down days are my least favorite. Well, I should say my least profitable. That's what got me. It wasn't one of those days where we were just going to dump early on. Fully formed. I like the Al Brooks trading rule, right? So if we get a swing and then I come back the other direction to get a green, I got to twice the ATR. Every time I see one of those, I'm looking for, okay, do I get a new low? This would have been tempting right there off of that divergence. No buyers around. Got a big green stripe here. So what's that about? I got delta divergence. I got a big change, so big swing in the delta here, and I'm not quite on the high, but I'm starting to get, now, as we were just talking, right, these guys here are now nervous. We can take this off, I guess. Right, so big green, big like delta surge, right? So I get a delta divergence, I get a surge, I get imbalances, and I got some nervous sellers right here. Is it enough to drive it? Well, it's sure that big green stripe's going to get your attention. I would think that might. We still got to get over that. Enough. These guys going to reject it. That's a big effort. Now that's not massive size. Difference in volume, 30,000 to 12,000. They keep there's an attempt to rally, but they're just getting squashed. We at least got to 400. So why? What is there? I get a 1 minute over here. Just looking at straight market structure. It's controlled, and then that's news driven. These channels are not to be ignored. Like that. We're getting 1, 2, 3. There's not much there. So all I've got is just lots of imbalance above. So any sort of rally is going to be very tempting to sell. 200 times the, 200 the IB. Oh, what else do I have? Keep that over here. I keep a 60, a 15, and a 1, but I'll bring up the 5 as well. All right, can they get some guys in trouble here? Oh, there's another big. Now remember, it shows that way while the bar is forming. But then this was a big green stripe too. The pretty good looking delta, nowhere near the volume. All right, look at that volume. Now this bar is not shaped yet, or not finished yet. I should have my range counter on there. I don't. Well, one way to look at these, right? So we look here, and so each one of those wicks is going to be liquidity, 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 right? So there's potential to come up, grab some of that, and keep pushing lower. If it's going to keep taking it down. Okay, it's good, right? But the size difference is not dramatic. Look at the volume. Okay, good, right? So if you're long, if you scalped it, remember that's a 15 tick bar. So here's where I'd get to the next bar. I mean, that's 15 ticks is not a bad scalp, right? But you got to be mindful of that when you go in this, right? Is your stop going to be 16 ticks? That's what if I'm trading a 15, my stop is 16. Okay, it's a start. Every time they hit, well, you can just look at the wicks. Last attempt. So I've got a delta divergence and I've got a delta surge again. I had a surge here, right? But gave me a new low, which is why I have delta divergence, right? I can't get delta divergence without a new low. I had it here too, right? So delta divergence by itself, for those of you that use the auto trader, it's not enough by itself. I would always pair that with something else. Okay, better. Now we're seeing some size come in up here. They got to get up. What's in the book up there? $41.05. Okay, so 41.05 is just on the other side of that, and we can see we've got some size up here. Holding, right, it's there now, 300 lot. May or may not be there when they get there. Just like down here, right, there's some pretty big size down here at 4,100. I think there's a lot of gamma exposure where dealers will have to keep shorting. That's likely what happened on the big drop. Dealers are trying to stay delta neutral, so when we go below that, they've got to short the futures. Now look here, so you see all the volume up at the top half. This will be interesting to see where this value area is. Look at the value area is huge in this candle. All right, now we're starting to go. So we have a surge, we have a divergence. This is still where we got to get to. You know, that between between the two 400s, you're not getting any benefit here. So if you're taking a trade in that range, you better like something here because you're getting no advantage here. Well, let's see. How are you guys doing over there? One bar is not enough, right? You want to try and put two together here. So you would look at where the value area is here. Value area is here. Now we're starting to go back. Now, are they going to roll over again? That has been the pattern here. But this is little bits of insight. My caution here is the size is not like you see it here. It's not huge. Here's 29, 15, 7, 5. Is that enough, right? All the sellers sold, and now they're going to be covering. Well, if they're covering, that should increase the volume, right? And see, if all of these sellers start covering, this volume should be increasing. Now we're going there, but you'd think it would be well into the double or the five figures. I think you get 10,000 here. Look at the size as we're coming down. 18s, 20s, 15, 12, 5 right here. 7. Maybe sellers are getting a little exhausted. Nothing happening until we get to 405. Bring this in. I'm checking on you guys. All right, well, they're just on the 1 minute. You're breaking this channel, so they're grabbing a little liquidity here. Can we keep going? Here's the fair value gap's been tested repeatedly. All right, so they're making these guys nervous. All right, I want more size. What do I got here in volume? So there's 10, 11. Okay, looking better. We're likely, so here's the surge. We're very likely to get a delta trap here if we go another bar, as in these guys are potentially trapped. I got sequencing. I've got divergence. I've got, that's multiple divergences here. Okay, so there's the surge, right? So I get back-to-back surges, right? So big push in delta. Here's my delta here. So you guys know well, I guess this is the color coding here. We go bright pink, that's extreme delta. And we go blue, that's extreme positive delta. So surge, and look where what we're wrestling with. Can they get through it? Volume's getting better. Okay. All right, you can see that's the problem area. There's probably goldens on there. What is that? That's 05. So what is the holdup? Well, it seems to be just kind of this. All of this in here. Attempts. Well, here, the orange candle here giving us that nice, look at the divergence we get here. Now, we had it here too, right? And I had them here when I was in. There's no absolute gonna rally signals, but these are markets talking to you. I'd want to get on the other side of this pivot. Okay, so they're wrestling with that. See if they can get through it. Still not there yet. We got to have a close above it. Better on the volume. Look, we went 17, so we went 15.7 here on the low bar. Now I'm getting a little juicier here at 17.9. Okay, so you got surge. So 3 delta surge bars in a row. Well, this is a surge negative. Down. Pardon me, that is surge positive because we had green stripe. Still can't get through that. Somebody's playing big defensive ball there. I don't know why. It's probably a strike. See how the 5 minute looks. Well, it's an order block. That's part of it. Here's the order block. It's been tapped already, but it's not been broken. Wrestling with that. You could certainly call this a wedge if I redrew that. 3 drives. 1, 2, 3 into your. I know Erwin was working on a little wedge flats, kind of some geometry patterns. He was kind of dabbling with that. I think he made some pretty good progress, and then we got sidetracked with other updates. But that's one I think that's in in the works? Well, if we break here, you might look for this. I'd take the height of it. There's 100. Oops. And we'll leave it there. So coming up here to the 1618, that would be tempting to sell, right? You see the fair value gap there. Well, at least here on a 5-minute, we want to have a higher low to work from if we can get one. If still big defense here. It's hard to tell why. What is there? There's something there. I don't see it. A book. I mean, it's there's somebody's defending there. No, it's POC of this. Remember, this is the split. So that's the POC of this. Let's see, I think I have it this way. Yep, we're on. Right. So here's the second. So we have a nice evenly balanced distribution down here in the POC, and you got an imbalance there, right, per the gray line. I should do my fair value gaps, and my imbalance is the same, but it's fairly easy to look right or left and see what they're tied to. Okay, so you've got the ingredients here. We've got a break of structure here. So this is the classic market structure, right? So we get lower low, lower high, lower low. Now we get a break of structure. Here's the order block down here. If we come back down here, there's the 618 looking over here. I got a golden zone. If we come back down here, that's a candidate, right, for a higher low. I wouldn't give it that much room. So you're going to have to be a little tighter here. So you're going to need to see a little reaction. At least you got the RSI on the right side. Here's the swing. All of the conditions here, you got a new low with all of this divergence. So you've got the ingredients there for this to potentially be our low. Just that potential. Plenty of work to get through. But do you see how you get another value area? Right? That's the advantage of the secondary split. I've got a whole new set of volume profile ranges to work with. It's a tiny little. Okay, just noting here we come out of the squeeze, right? We go into the squeeze here. We don't come out of the squeeze until here, right? Where's the McGinley? Where's the McGinley all down here underneath? Where's the McGinley now on the other side? I'm not saying buy it. I'm just saying have an awareness, because there's going to be a moment, well, maybe we come to a 50 or something like that, where you're looking at that, and that's going to give you that one little bit of conviction, extra conviction to take the trade. Liked it better a little bit lower. Well, here we are back at it. Can they get through now? Somebody's going to have to cover, right? So this has been hit so many times. If they can get through, and look, there's plenty of headroom here. So if they can break through, right, somebody's going to cover. Look at the size. Look at that, right? So they know that there's been defense there so many times. Look at that size. The imbalance here is pretty substantial. So you can see what they had to do, right? That was not going to be easy to break. So this is, let's just see here, big size here. They pulled it right as it got there, right? So that, or they ate through it all. Now can it keep going? where the next target would be 4110, where you can see there's more liquidity. It will just gravitate to liquidity. So 4110 would be up here. Last time we had 4110 up here, keying off of these guys. Okay, we're through. Now we got to hold right now. Look. So a lot of the ingredients were right there. This is, again, more advantage to footprint. Okay, so I got, look at all the delta surge here I got. And then eventually I get, do I get trapped? Don't get trapped. I got surge, surge, surge off divergence. So there's the new low. I mean, you could certainly make a case. Remember, we were looking at these guys, all of that, look at this. All of that size down here at the low. Well, they're covering now. Right? Well, they've likely already covered. This could be them. They're not going to give that too much. So next up, can they get there? Now, you can't see it in the same way. It's going to look different over here. So what do we want now is to come back down and retest into the next order block. If it's going to cooperate. Here's the new, so we get broke structure here. We're grabbing all this liquidity here. If we come back down, so what's the trade you're envisioning, right? The one that you're looking for is we're going to come back down here. There's the 50 golden zone, all that stuff. Imbalances here. I got the edge of a value gap, a value area here. That's the trade to be looking for. If, right? Doesn't mean we're going to get it. Right now we're looking for, right? An ABC kind of a swing, or a 1, 2, 3, or what do they call it in price action? A two-legged swing. I always think Elliott. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like you got a potential A there. That would be perfect. Right to the edge of the order block, at the imbalance, at the golden zone. RSI comes back down. Now, see, I would map that out and I'd look at that and I'd go, okay, 4,100 and change, and then I'd come back down here. Well, there's 4,100. Okay, when we get there, what can I see from that? Well, look at the size here. So I know there's going to be likely, right? There's likely to be defense there. I've got some POCs that are in alignment here, although they skip a bar. Well, you could do it this way. Take that low. Be interesting to see if we can get that to play ball. You're in the pocket, all right? So you would want to see some action here. We could, I don't have a pivot yet. Let's see what we get here. If we get the pivot, here'd be the golden. I don't have it yet. These guys here, that's 455 to 71, right? So there was a big kick there. This says come on down. Now we don't want it to go too much lower. We want, now you want to see the reaction, right? So that you're in the golden zone. Do we get a reaction? Might get sellers reacting. You're decent here. Unfinished auction, right? You see you don't have a zero there, so we're not done yet. Well, they could leave it hanging unfinished. Odds are they won't. Now you got a zero. Let's see how it plays relative to what we're looking at here. Oh, there we go, right? We're to and through. There was the 618. Well, then I would do something like this. Okay, you're coming all the way back down here. Well, here's where the buyer showed up to create that to create the wick. What happens here? Do I have a... I don't really have an order block. This is the last order block I've got right here. Well, we can just use that. All right, this would be a stick save here if bulls can defend here. That doesn't look particularly promising. Well, now you're back to, okay, well, are we just doing a liquidity grab here, or is there fresh news coming to the market? I wouldn't be buying that just yet, right? Now, if you're thinking, oh God, I'm dying to buy it, you've got to see a push back and then come back. Otherwise, you're trying to buy the falling knife, right? Which is you get away with it, right? I mean, that's you can understand why it would rally there, but it just over time, it only takes one or two times to be wrong to just get really hammered. It's not worth it. Well, it's my opinion, right? For what that's worth, it's not worth it to try and pick the turn. You don't need to. If this thing's going to rally, it'll show. Here's the failed measured move. Remember, that's actually good to see. For every one that succeeds, there's one that fails. All right, some stacked imbalances down here. They're fighting for that low. Got a stacked imbalance here, so I wouldn't want to touch that until I got on the other side of that. So this is new. He's put this in. It's similar to where the Renko's, where you can see where the new bar is shaped. So I know here I wouldn't. This might be interesting here because I'm going to have these guys in trouble. These guys would be driving it. That's just, they're buying off the low. Look at the extreme delta here, right? So unless you're going to get a flip here, a delta flip where you'd go extreme low to extreme high, you'd want to stay away from that. Okay, caution, but not red. $95, he's got size. You guys still with me? I guess a couple of you aren't. Nice reaction off the wedge. You got 1272 off of that, the length of the widest part of it, but not enough to turn around. Double bottom. Weak day. This is where I was thinking I was going to have a great day because I rode through that and then caught it all the way to here. Gave it all back here. You don't really have anything to work with down here. Well, if they break this, where are they going? Here's the 60. That's a long way down. These kind of vertical moves are really hard to trade. It's too late to sell. It's too soon to buy. So you're kind of, you're looking for little quick opportunities rather than it's too much to envision. Oh, we're coming all the way back. Not with all that negative news. See if Bitcoin did anything. 27.6. Nothing really there to work with other than a fresh low. Okay. Okay, these guys are going to try to defend. Look at the delta here on the extreme. Volume not as severe. It's, these are just this just value in being able to see, okay, well, what's going on here? Big stacked imbalance here. This is the distribution here is even. POCs in alignment, right? So if you get on the other side of that, but I wouldn't want to be long until I got on the other side of that stacked imbalance. So I'd want to be long right here where I'd get a new green bar or green candle. All right, is it tempting to want to buy that? Not really. Plenty of room for that to fall. These little things that catch your eye, the bright pink and the very light blue, you can make use of those with this setup. Although it's going to look different, right? This is a 2000 tick. But I can see, okay, wait a minute. They're making an effort here. Volume's coming in with some size. So what's the volume? 15,000 to 9,000. Delta I've gone to 2,300 from 1,100. So they're working here to get out of the hole. Big fair value gap to get through. Okay, there's the stacked imbalance. Ticks on the rise. Here's the next green candle. Do we have anything? Nope. Look, right, all the buyers are down here at the low, so if we come back down, they're going to be in trouble. Got a finished auction. Here we have an unfinished auction. Do you see that? Right, we've got a 0 here. We don't get a 0 here. Okay, new bar. So I've got potentially here, I've got a delta trap, right? So I do have a delta, pardon me, I do have a delta trap, right? So that if you were in the auto trader, you just got long. So I still think this area is got to be cleared. But do you see why that's a trap? Because of all of this negative delta. And then when we get the second bar here, so the assumption is these guys are trapped. They're going to have to cover. And look at the tick. Let's bring this over. Okay. We run out of sellers. We might have. Here's the YM doing something similar, right? All lows. Here's the first push. Next green candle. Okay, so we want that market structure pattern. We got it actually because we didn't break this low. So here's the break of structure. We come all the way back down here. Now there's the change of character. So that's potentially could have longed it there. I'm not saying I would have, but that is right out of the playbook. Now if we come back down, I've got change of character. I've got break of structure here. So if I come back down here, you might take a try. I might take one there. If I weren't having if I were still trading. Can we get that high or low? You're in the pocket, right? So you could keep your stop very, very tight there. Well, that's where you'd get. You see this one here is where I'm going to get 2 times the ATR. If I break that, then I'm going to get a red candle here. So into the pocket, there's the reaction. Reaction, right? Here's all down at the base, right? There's the value area. Now, can we get through here? Because right now it's just rotation. What's my, what I get there? Here's the trap. Sounds like this. Oh, nothing from you guys. That's probably boring to listen to me give commentary. I'm going to get the goddamn live stream thing figured out. It's really frustrating because you have no way to check it. There's no way to check it until you go live. And then if it's not right at first, it's not going to work. Oh, is that tick high of the day? Well, we got a tick high there at 754. I don't think it's high of the day. Still, they can't get over that 4104.05 area. Well, this will be interesting here. See if there's any signs of life. Do these guys defend? Oh, geez. It can make for kind of dull trading because it's too late to sell, it's too soon to buy, so you're waiting and waiting to get enough momentum here. You got two big levels to try and get through. Although there's room from one to the next. 17 ticks. Do you like the way it looks here? There's the stacked imbalance. So you get it. This is interesting. Right? So you get a stacked imbalance here on a 2,000 tick. You don't get it on the 15 range. They're down here. That's pretty good size. Compared volume 17 to 10 to 9. Right? They made an effort here. Any sort of ramp in the afternoon, we may not have it today. Too much negative news. All right, can these guys hold it? I guess not. I'm just going to draw this. That's the little value area. You could have a liquidity grab here. Let's see what they do with it. The delta is not, it's only 338 here. But that is, whether your minimum's 397. POC. A little bit of a fist fight right here. What time is it? 3 o'clock. If we're going to get any sort of legs to get out of here, it needs to show up pretty soon. And it would have to be. Now, keep in mind, we've got, I think, Google and Microsoft reporting. This is all bank related. Be my guess. I haven't really dug into all the news, but First Republic or whomever it was. First Republic? I think it's First Republic. Market seems to be really at peace with the idea of another 25. I don't think anyone's expecting more or less than that. But I think it was one of the big banks was implying that their research or their data, their analysts was expecting multiple rate cuts the second half of this year. And I think what I was listening to was BlackRock strongly disagreeing with that. All right, so here are these guys, right? So you're just framing that value area here. They're fighting it out down here. But you see here, this is why this is the trade-off with the footprint. I don't get great context here, so that's why I always like to come back to this and say, okay, this is what we're all used to. Same thing, right? So that's the advantage of having them draw on each. So I know this is the value area, and then you can see the little congestion. I drew this in as the prior pivot. You could call it an order block. The last down little bit of that candle before we went back up. Now, this would be just literally right out of the market structure playbook. If we go up, break the structure, come down here and hold and bounce around, and then come out of here, what do we have? Nice, juicy W. We don't have it yet. W for the win. All right, you want to I'm always trying to visualize the trade that I want. Right, so that's what I want here. Maybe they do this. Right, grab the. Is there any uncertainty as to where the stops are? Well, let's look. Let's see if we can see them. Where do you think the stops are? Under the low? Doesn't mean they won't break it. Here they come for them. What's there? A lot of times they'll come right up to the edge of it and then turn. Well, that's a pretty good wall of support down there. There's the second entry long. Should we get it? Because that would be one. Pardon me. We reset here. 1, 2. That's the one. So that's the signal bar. That's for those of you that struggle with entries, this is just kind of a nice rational way to enter the market on second entries. Can be helpful in terms of how to get in. All right, let's see what they're going to do here. Do we get a new low? We double bottomed. There's your second entry long going very counter trend. Any help over here? They grabbed it. Unfinished auction, right? No zero there, so they're vulnerable to having them come back down to clean up that auction. You're unfinished here, that's finished now. 0, 0, unfinished, unfinished, finished. Okay, right? You can see, you can kind of look at that and go, okay, I know what happened there. Right? Did they come and grab all the stops that were down there and then take it up? Right? Remember, we were just talking about that. Boy, wouldn't that be the right? Is this what just went down? Too soon to call it. Pretty good size. Now look below. All right, got 17, 10, 16. Okay, there's an effort here. 218, that's not big delta, right? This is big delta, right, on this candle. Look at the difference. This is big negative delta, but almost 2,700 positive delta on that candle. What do we got here? 500? I mean, there's no way for this not to be useful to you. But you got to kind of quickly get to look at it. Maybe. Good volume, right? We went from 10 to 18. But boy, they can't get it off the floor. So really, it's just rotation. Okay, now we got the stripe here. So I got delta divergence, meaning I get a new low, but at the moment I have an up candle, right? So that can change. That's the D, the stripe for divergence. I've got imbalances. I've got, it's a POC. Look at the value area. Look, right? The value areas are almost identical, right? So there's an effort here. Bulls are making an effort here to hold. There's the last stack that got eaten. Now we get a green candle if we go here. These guys are going to defend. Although that's not huge size here. Okay, here they're coming. What'd the delta do, right? It's not huge, right? It's pretty balanced here. So we still got some legs here, but not off of a lot of aggressive buying. That's what you can read into that. But interesting, look how these POCs are lining up here. right here. All right, so you get a new, if we retrace here and we can hold that candidate. No help from the tick. Well, it's be interesting to see if we get back here, right? We can look at the size there. Tap and go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Need one more to complete it. One more upswing. May not get it. Well, you had everything you look for, right? You had divergence. You got divergence in the RSI, divergence in the force. It's all right there. You're on the lower range here. Just tag the 618. All the ingredients are there, but look at all that shit that's got to get through. I wouldn't buy that, but I'd be looking. YM, same thing at the low. That's the last stand. How are these guys going to do? Quite a battle down here. That's the biggest volume we've had since here, 21.2. Well, they're trying. So now the potential, this is a powder keg, right? If they can get it, if they can start to go, and the thought might be, oh, we got Google and Microsoft earnings after the close. So do people want to be this short going into those earnings? You might be able to talk yourself into the rationales that if we rally, why we might rally. Of course, they'll both NASDAQ and ES will go with them. Three o'clock, power hour. If we're going to get something, I better hurry up. Here we go. New candle. Excuse me, new candle here. YM's off the lows. Same thing. A little, we had an extra hitch in it, but still a contender. All right, and there's the target. Oh, let's see if I can get this to play just perfectly. Got to get a new high right there to take out this liquidity. Well, so you can kind of see the path there that would potentially go. We'd come up here, grab that liquidity. There's probably more up here. So you might be expecting something like this, get them nervous, and then if we're going to go. I used to have these pinned. Shit, I got to find those. That's when you guys are all over on the other Discord. I think they're still in there. I think they're still pinned up there as to what these patterns look like. But this is a good one. But what it starts with the break of structure here, right? And then we have not had a break of structure on the sell side. Some change of character. get you out of there? Shit. I don't think I can. Ah, it's one bummer with Ninja. You can't go in there and get that stuff off. Okay. There it is. Got it. One little retest. Here we go. Right by the book. That's what the W pattern is, right? It's either a double bottom or you're grabbing liquidity. That's what gives it the slight slant. It's still trading range, so you can't do much here. Any help over here? Well, about the only thing you could do here is if we come back into this, we've got all these POCs lined up here. You might have be looking here if you could get long on a retest down here. You don't really want a back-to-back red candle, which you'd get here at the midline. You'd rather see it hold here. Nothing over there. Oh, you guys got quiet. I know this is kind of boring. Sideways shit was when I came on. Over here, we've gone sideways for the last hour and a half. I swear to you, I'm going to get this figured out. I still have a problem up here. There really is. Makes me so mad. I think a couple of you guys, I know Ghost and Justin Noob and Art Vandelay. I'm not sure how your day's gone on the money. I know there's a couple of guys had some big numbers this morning. Like they caught the shorts. Always love to see that. I never make it, always been my intention to never make it about me, but make it about you guys. I'm down 1,300 on the day. These things have a way of staying in play. Nice test, right? We were talking about, okay, we don't want a new candle here. Got to get on the other side of that. Okay, how do we look? Even volume. The deltas are balanced. They're not really one side really picking over. You can see on the percentage, right? It's pretty balanced. No delta signals. Last thing we got here was divergence. Oh, that little triangle is, I want to say it's, above below POC, right? So this is above below. So here's the POC and we closed it on the high. All right, you got a potential here, these guys to be in trouble. Got it over here. We're getting our W. There you go. All right, big imbalance there. That's the next liquidity up here. So I might do this just to ping it. Right at that 50. We're not there yet. Oh, we're on our way. So you could probably look at this and say, kind of the same idea here. Double, that just range. boring. Boring. So, I don't have anything else to show you guys. I don't think. See that 5-minute looks. Not much there. Squeeze. Look at the McGinley. You'll notice we get a VWAP over here at 02. Come on. I think that's where we're going. Up to that. All right. Do they mean business? All right. Divergence, push, POC, imbalances. Can they get through? This would be their third green candle if I can get that. There is Trap Traders and an exhaustion print on a 2000. It came went. So there's the exhaustion print, right? It's bullish, right? And there's the potential Trap Traders. See, right? So the 2000 is going to be different. You got to get used to that. Exhaustion, unfinished auction, right on the edge, right? Look at that. Where are you? Exhaustion print. All right, they're going again at it. 4110 looks like it's open. Up here, right? If they can clear this one, the book is wide open. They got to get through this, and then 10 looks very doable. Show you what I'm looking at. Wish you guys could see all this stuff without me having to move it. All right, so here's the last hurdle. That's that pivot. Once we get through that, it's a pretty clear shot to get to 10. There's a little bit there. But that would be tied to this, right? It's not, they're not really laying down any size there. So here we come again, right? This is what they got to get through to get to 10. So looking below, okay, well, how do we look down here? What's the size, right? It's twice the volume here as the prior bar, right? So we go 10, 21, 10, 23, building. That's pretty good size in there. So 3 rising. Do you see the value areas? No, we don't have gaps, but we've got value areas climbing. POCs climbing. We're still range bound. Let's see. It's such a small group. Any of you guys have any questions or anything you want me to look at or bring up or anything? I'm here for you guys, not for me. I stopped trading, although it's probably good today. Okay, a little bit of a push. Still low, relatively low volume. Here's our next green candle, which would be just on the other side of that. Yeah, you could. Short-term trend. Can we get through? So you can kind of frame this up as well over here. Well, let's do it this way. All right, so I'm getting low end of the value, right? So I can see this nice big fat D even distribution here. Next version of the toolbar, I'm gonna ask you. I'm assuming you will. If we can put something to change the colors here, so we could have multiple things. So the idea being we could highlight it and then go up here and quickly change the color. Got a feeling I can talk him into doing that. Well, you really see the range over here. So 300 tick I like on the YM. Just sideways. Oof. Talk about a range. So how do you trade a range like that? Well, would you want to buy it right into the fair value gap? No. I mean, shit, I wouldn't. I should say it that way. I'd want this. Right, simple. When in doubt, keep it simple. Come on. Hey, they're grinding pretty good here. Now, look at the delta now. So we've gone from kind of flat even to all of a sudden we got 1100. What is happening, right? Just as we drew it, right? Can't make this shit up, right? So there we go, right after it, right? There's your classic market structure pattern. I mean, that's why I like to do this, right? So I say, okay, I can see the pattern. Okay, if it does this, okay, I know what's happening here. I mean, that's a pretty good. Okay, so if you weren't in it now, just as we were just talking about, well, what'd they just do, right? They just went up and probably grabbed that liquidity. So any sort of a kickback here, any retracement here would have to be considered an opportunity. That's what I'd be looking at here. Now we don't have it. Look at all the wick rejection here. I see if you don't have the footprint, it's not like you're out of business. But tick's not terribly hot here. You want them to grab the liquidity up here, come up, and then bring it back, and then go. And just what we were talking about. This would have been hard to buy, right? Especially with that. That would have probably stopped or taken everybody out. That's part of the reason that happens. Now, look. Right, there's the squeeze, there's the McGinley. Anything from you guys? Nothing. God, you guys are quiet. Oh, this is boring. I get it. Probably better to do these in the morning, but I got to keep working on that live stream stuff. Simon, you still around? He probably went out for dinner and a pint. Okay, there's the tap back into the order block. Yeah, would have been an aggressive, right? Your aggressive buy. Here's the 50, right? So remember, you get that swing. What is that? That's no, that's market structure, right? So the last swing here, I'm getting the 50 and the 618. Oh, let's see here. Get that wick. Right. And this one is the next one. Little liquidity grab, right? So same thing's happening here. Or breakout traders getting bent over. It should just feel like, oh my God, look how far we've gone here. And now we're going to come up here and run the pivot here, and we're just going to keep going. So, I mean, here, okay, all right, so here's just what we were talking about. If I can come down here a little bit of interest. Here's the swing. We got a new high here, so I have a higher high. If I get a lower high, the anticipation, well, let's draw it up. That's the pattern we were just working on. Right, so you got to respect the channel. As long as we stay in that channel, this would be buy, not sell. But what you want is, ideally, you see a break of the channel, and then it sucks in the short sellers. How much did they get? 13 ticks. Well, the one lesson I think you can draw from this is that after just the collapse over here, you know, really wasn't well advised to be looking for anything until we went from just the straight drop to sideways trading range. Now, it's not unreasonable to be looking at this thinking accumulation. Is that what's happening here? Accumulation down here? It's not an unreasonable thought. Otherwise, why isn't it just still going down? There's your second entry long. All right, first, second. Oh, that's the MAC, right? So that's only 4. I think it's 4 or 5. That's 8 ticks. I think that's how I have it set. Second entry. Well, this would be a trap, and then you have a second entry line there. Last break of structure is still right here. Still right here. Oh. There's the dip down. Okay, so you can't buy that, right? It's not the bar. So with that kind of action, right, we got to come over here and say, okay, what just happened? Broke the channel. That was kind of what you wanted. Now, right? We have a contender for a push to a new high, unless we're going to drop to a new low. Let's bring these guys over. That value area. Remember these value areas that we're holding? Yeah. What do we do, right? So we should see it fire. There's the 300 lot. If it's going to hold, you'll see it. If it's going to hold. Here's your algo in action. Well, it's perfect, right? It would be absolutely perfect to catch that. Now, that 15 range is big. If we hold. You do have a 0 down here, so you have a candidate for a completed auction. Unfinished, so likely it goes down a little further. What's there? Oh, 4,100. We're back to 4,100. Do you see how we're unfinished down here, though? This really makes it stand out. So here's a 0, 0, unfinished, unfinished. Those tend to be magnets, right, to come finish that, because the assumption is there's unfilled orders there. Now we got wick through. God damn it. I'm getting the allergy shots on Friday. That's the next thing they're trying for me. All right, well, we just got wicks through. Let's see how we look over here. We're starting to get some shape. There we go. Here's the pushback down. Right into that imbalance area. That's not enough. Well, so you've got this big candle. You wouldn't, so it's, of course it's going to leave order block and fair value gap. They might get through it. Well, that's what we were looking for. Here's the break. Now, the implication is, right, for trendline rules, that we are going to break that high if we don't break this low. Right? So if we stay internal from this swing to this low to high, odds favor, odds, just that, odds favor, we're going to break that high. $330. I mean, we'll go for another 10 minutes. I think I'm boring you guys to death. Okay, good start on it. Okay, they're threatening here, so we just got wick down here. Oh, that's kind of a decent example of why you can't put your stop one tick below the 65. You got to give it a little bit of a cushion. 707 is always good to use, right? But that you got to do the math now on if you're giving up more room. All right, so if the trend line rule is going to hold, we're after that pivot. That would give us the measured move target here. We came right to the edge of those value areas. Interesting. No, we're not there yet. Some days it's just there's just too much selling, right? There it is in the YM. Sets up perfectly. You would have anticipated that goes. It still can, right? Now here's the squeeze, right? There's the McGinley. McGinley's still leading. Here we go. Now that was, so what's happening on size, right? So pretty good. Delta's not crazy. Size is consistent. Last half an hour. We'll go to a quarter of. I bet you they're going to get that. But talk about what you really see after the drop. There's the middle of it. Long way to go. It looks like, oh, it's just a candle, but those are 4-point candles. Not quite 4. All right. Well, let's see if we get this new high, and then we'll wrap it here. There's a small group today because I screwed up the thing. Although I think most people watch it after the fact, or that do watch it. I think we got 500 watched it last time. Kind of surprising. All right, looking any better over here? Even distribution, right? So there's nothing telling here. You'll recall that was me just drawing out the, I think I did it on the other one, where the value area was. I'd be inclined to think that that high gets taken out. Well, it's not, what has to happen before we get there? We got to break that 618. We got an order block here. This is where we go to ATR, right? So this flips to a green. This, we cross the signal, cross the 50. We're on the rise here. You'd like to see that get on the other side of the 0 line if there's going to be a push here. It's not insignificant. Look, do you see here the price action indicators giving you the range? Open that up. That's a pretty big one. They're usually smaller than that. Right, so here's a range. This is a big one. I hear you guys commenting, but you're not doing it here. Well, you got this potentially in play, right? If we get a new low here. Another W, right? Potentially. That's always just potential. What's the numbers? Thought I had it. See where I know what the Dow was down on the day. This is all we've had to work with since I came on. Just the range. Here it was. I was drawing the D. Looks like a D cup. Did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to. Trapped. All right, so who's trapped here? So the A means delta trap. Who's trapped here? Those guys. Up, right? Big delta. Here's the 1515 delta. That's why they're trapped, right? So that's what sets up the delta trap. Now, I wouldn't sell it there myself, even though you have that. It's just more an awareness. Oh, shit, for all I know, we're going to just crater right into the close. Looks like we might, right? And that's a pretty big spike of delta, but it's always early in the bar. 3, right? So this is clearly broken now, right? So that taken out. And we're back to the lows. 337, that's a bad sign for any bull play. Look at the size, 26,000. Big size came in. Never a great sign to see it closing on the lows for the day. A little surprising, right? Unless they think they know that there's going to be misses in tech. Somebody always knows. Well, somebody knows. We know that. Back to the goal line. All right, there's the 3. Right, market likes to move in those threes. Can make a case you had it here. This is the failure swing. So the last thing that happened, they came up here and this was just liquidity grab from this. Same thing. Now, this time of day, I wouldn't be, you got to be careful about trying to play for the breakout traders. If we were going to dump, this is too late in the day to be playing that game. If we break here, we could really fall. Back to that 60. I've been watching for this overnight or going into tomorrow. If we keep falling, that's a pretty nice setup there. You got a great leading diag there. It looks like that's 3-4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leading diag A B. Oh fuck. Yeah, you'd have to go. You have to dig a 2 out of there. Let's just call that the correction. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some contracting diag, right? So you got all of it. You got another wedge up here for my Elliott heads. All right, so here we can label it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here's our correction. There's our wave 1, right? So it looks like we're done here on the 5. Although we didn't get much of a 5th. Done. That gets a little tricky there. But let's put that 40, 70-ish, somewhere in that range. 40, 68, 70 is an area of interest. Should we come back down here, order blocks, fair value gaps, major significant pivot. And I think you'd have to... Here. Here's 100. Well, any of you that play options, that would be an area of interest. I wouldn't, maybe not 0 DT, maybe 1, 2, or a weekly. 42. All right, we'll wrap here in momentarily. What would we do? I'm just rambling on to myself. Okay, potential second entry there. I wouldn't take it this time of day. It has changed things up a little bit in that 4 o'clock to 4:30, which used to be when they could rip. I can't do it quite. At least we can participate, I should say. That's what I'm trying to say. We can participate in that now. Don't have a new low yet. If we scrunch this up, pretty clear trading range. Might even be too tall. We just broke through those value areas that we were looking at here. Looks like we're going to close on the... Well, there's your classic breakout traders. Late in the day, they're thinking, here it comes. Once again, that's why you don't want to enter here. You want to be short going into it. Well, there's the trap, right? We looked at that. These guys are trapped here. That's roughly. 40, 45 ticks straight down from this liquidity grab. 38, 40 ticks, 475. Oh, look at the bounce. It's just that's just a great example to see, right? So you see the same thing here and the same thing down here. It's why you don't, same thing here, right? These guys, it's just only new traders do it. And eventually they stop doing it, but fortunately there's always a new crop of new, just inexperienced traders come in, they sell the lows, right? They do it until they stop, and then there's a new crop, and then they do it until they stop. Always a new crop. Boom. 15 minutes to the close. That could unload now. Once again, right? I'm not saying, whenever I say that, I'm not saying it's going to hold. I'm just saying, scary place to enter. Even if you entered here, you're already shit. You better have been quick to get your scalps out. Maybe you were. Now that becomes the resistance. I guess we can get this out of here. That was those value areas. What's the size? Look at the delta on the extreme, right? Within a couple of ticks of its extreme low. We're going to try and bounce back. All right, so if you sold it, boy, you better have taken profit quickly, right? Or you're sorry you did it. All right, let's see how we look over here. We didn't get the perfect W where we were looking for. Market doesn't always give you what you want. So there's I find these really useful. So I can see this is all one self-contained swing. Here's the little retrace and the break. So now it's time of day is the issue here. Now, do we get a new low? All right. Oh man, almost all of you guys are gone. Okay, why don't we wrap it up here? My apologies again for the live stream. Is just an issue I have. I'm gonna keep trying to figure it out. Let me look here. Okay, guys, we'll wrap it up here. I'm going to go grab some lunch. I appreciate the few of you that hung with me here. Thanks for that. I'm going to keep working on the live stream. I'll get it sorted out eventually. Okay, guys, we'll talk to you later. See ya. Have a good afternoon.